Hello everybody and welcome back to the promised match between Serral and Spirit. Last match of Group D. The stakes are high for Spirit. Serral's already through, but Spirit needs to take a singular game to guarantee himself to get through to the playoffs. If he does not manage to take a game, ShoWTimE will take his place at the playoffs and take second in the group. We're seeing a pretty standard opener out of Spirit, not electing to go for the low ground wall. Single gas into most likely a Reaper expand. Other side, we did see Serral do a cheeky extractor trick, which is why his minerals are so weird. Or it doesn't end in a 0 or a 5, that makes it weird. And he's even delaying his gas. This might have been a pull first, actually. Sorry about that. Drone handing out. Is this not going to be a third hatchery before gas? Interesting opener by Serral. He already opened differently against Euthermal as well, starting with the pull first. Maybe he's just done with all this Reaper shenaniganry, but there's also no gas. So actually, gasless opener for Serral so far. Very cool. Reaper's coming out. Serral feels like you don't need the speed in this matchup. Other side of the map, we see factory coming down. Marines are being made. No reactor just yet. We see Serral or Spirit looking for that third hatchery. Not any luck just yet. And two more queens on the way. Queens, queens, queens. Not quite mum's the word, but it's close. One queen is sent out to the third to secure it for this Droney boy to become a hatchery. And now the gas goes down. When he already almost has double full saturation on his basis. Very economical opener. And Spirit is doing something similar, being very economically focused with this third CC. Probably not going to elect to throw down a fourth. Nope. It will be a starport. Stock standard. Let's see if this is going to be a Banshee, a Raven, maybe a Medevac. So double Hellion coming out, this Reaper just chilling. Serral did not make a singular Ling this game. That is crazy. Usually you lose a bunch of drones against that, but I guess because maybe he... Whoa. His pool finished a little earlier? Maybe he went for a little earlier hatchery? Or maybe the rush distance on Babylon is just so big that Serral's like, there's no way a Reaper's gonna do any damage with how fast my queens are out. Roach Warren underway. There's double gas. Really cool opener by Serral. Something different indeed from the normal speed opener that relies on Ling Queen. Ooh, two front tumors do get sniped. Serral was hoping to spot that moving in with his overlords, but he did not quite see that. Now the roaches are out. He's like, shoo, get away. Overlord flying in to get a little scouty scout. But he did see the starport, but no tech lab confirmed. Now there's one Banshee out. Is he going to wait for a second one? Sometimes people do with this cloak. Now a bunker on the high ground? What is this bunker? Is he afraid of some roaches running into his base? Crazy. Hellion's poking around to see what's up. He sees the roaches are still at home. And the creep has been respread. 3 bases saturated. Link speed on their way. Double Evo. a lair. We got 4 gases. And we now see 2 more gases for Spirit as well. Electing to go Stim, another barracks underway, and a 5th CC. Damn. He is really greedy today. Spirit's feeling like they're gonna play a long game. So he wants that 4th orbital up and running. We see double upgrades, roach speed. So is this just going to be a bunch of roaches? No, it's actually ling upgrades with +1 melee. But no baneling nest. Never mind, baneling nest is down. 4th hatch, no macro hatch. And an infestation pit, so maybe we're gonna see a fast hive, adrenal, maybe even ultras. A very cute supply depot here. He wants an early warning if any roaches are chilling over there. Clearing up some creep, well done by Spirit. And Serral goes out to immediately remedy that. Cloak Banshees are in the main. One doesn't have energy anymore for the cloak, but 6 drones do get killed. Maybe a couple more. 7, 8. Spirit. But Serral's on 80 drones regardless. He's been droning like a madman, having that extra mineral income in the early game. Interested to see what he's going to focus on. He doesn't seem to be using his 4th hatchery for injects a lot. Never mind. Because if you don't do that, you really need a macro hatch. But it's Serral, of course. He knows how to get larva. Armory's down so that he can start 2-2 upgrades. When they finish up, we see a Liberator coming out, actually. 4th base has been landed on location and is becoming a planetary. We see a couple Ravagers being built. They are, of course, pretty good against Widow Mines and tanks. Changeling does spot this drop. Overlord spots this drop. Serral knows that there's a little drop coming to his 5th base or his main. But there's units in position, ready to shoo that away. There's no secondary attack by Spirit because he just doesn't really have an army to do that right now. Because he's also powering up his economy rather than his army, prioritizing those SCVs. Nice Liberator harassment gonna come out in the bottom here whilst the Marines try to push that 5th base. But roaches are pretty tanky, especially with +1 armor. Spore and Queen are gonna be shooting down this Liberator before it can do anything. Doesn't even kill the Queen. Well done by Serral, preparing for something like that to happen with the Spore Crawler. Vipers are now out. Tanks are not gonna have a good time, and the clock is ticking for Spirit. Serral just has everything he wants. Adrenals underway, Ultra Cavern is underway, 6th base underway. He's 80 drones, all the upgrades he'd ever want. And creep spread is also starting to get there. The roach force is moving out. I guess Serral would like to lose these roaches now for a little bit of a trade. Because they're not going to be worth much in an all-out fight, especially now that Serral is maxed. Doesn't want to throw them away for nothing though. But the bio does catch up with no concussive, question mark. No concussive indeed. So the roaches do get away. And we see this Ling Bane Roach Ravager Viper Force. This is not ZVP. Nice blending cloud on the tanks, allowing Serral to move in and trade off his 1st army. And he can immediately remax to get the 2nd one. But damn, he gets a lot of kills on the bio and the tanks as well. The tank count has been reduced back to the Stone Age to 1 tank. 5th command center underway. But look at Spirit's army supply. It's only 50 right now. That was a very good trade off of creep for Serral. That is not what you want to see if you're a Spirit fan. He had 10 minutes to build up a nice army there. Medevac's flying away, maybe... This is a fake Doom Drop, baby. This is super cool. Look at this. Serral has to respect this. He's like, well, if that's full of units, then I'm gonna lose a base. I don't like that. Damn. That is a cool move. Meanwhile, he pushes on forward with his army onto creep, trying to clear it, and picks up and gets out of there. Doesn't really manage to clear as much creep as he would like. 5th base has landed another orbital at his 3rd base. So 6 he sees on the map right now. And Spirit wants to get this down, but he was kind of hoping Serral not to see it because the PF is not done and his army is not in position. Serral's here to punish. SCVs run into the army of Serral and they get killed. 13, 15, and more to fall. PF gets splodinated by the Banelings as well, whilst tanking a bunch of the army. Really great uses by the Banelings there. And now, Spirit's back on 3 bases. Banelings get into the 3rd base as well. Kill a couple SCVs, not too many. Serral's pulling Spirit apart. Spirit can't position anywhere. He just doesn't have enough army to reinforce all the positions right now. And a big Ling flood comes in. These Lings have Adrenal. Both tanks get surrounded in the front. Banelings running in. No more Banelings. These Marines do have +2 and stim. So they'll kill those Zerglings pretty darn fast. No +3 armor for Serral just yet, but he has money to spare. Lots of army supply being added on, and Spirit is going for somewhat of a trademark for him, Doom Drop. Just flying over creep, he don't care. He needs to get something done. So he's gonna drop his whole army on top of the ramp in the main. Now that's a cute move. If he had Force Field, this would be great. Or a Thor, I guess. But Serral is in position using that creep spread to quickly move his army. And was in position to indeed kill more of Spirit's army. But Spirit is managing to keep Serral on his side of the map. So maybe, just maybe, Spirit can re-establish some kind of foothold on the map and keep himself in the game, remax, get his 3-3 upgrades, which is when Marines get really good. But the creep is onto his potential 5th base. Lings into the 3rd, he has to lift it off again. This is a very cute burrow play. Spirit has to waste a scan on that or make a turn and wait even longer for him to be allowed to land his orbital again. Spirit walks up here and sees a bunch of creep. That's not what you want to see. He's being dominated in this game, and Serral attacking him from all sides. He is indeed surrounded by the Zerg. One sensor tower gets picked off. Luckily he has another giant white circle on the map. Another giant white circle made by this Liberator. But Spirit is hanging on by a thread. Luckily, things aren't going to get much worse because Serral has already completed all of his upgrades. But as soon as he will add a bunch of Ultras, this might get worse. Serral does move in. The 4th is being forced to land. Blinding Clouds making the bio not fire at all. Marines run away from the Banelings and Marauders walk into the front to tank the Banes. 4th base. He tries to establish the 4th base again, but again there's a Burrow Ling. Serral being so gosh darn annoying with that. And now Spirit has had enough. He moves out onto creep. He's like, I need a great fight because this is the last big army I'll have this game. And he sets up a foothold in the middle of the map with these tanks and the libs. The drones come out to fight. Serral is like, I don't need these drones. I got 90 of them. And the Banes and the Lynx swoop in and kill Spirit's last army. And Serral takes the first game quite convincingly with a very macro-oriented build versus Spirit's super macro-oriented build. And welcome back to game number 2 between Serral and Spirit for HomeStoryCup 23 Group D. Spirit is down, but he's not out yet. But he needs to win this game. It's a do-or-die situation for him. If he can win this game, he stays alive in this best of 3, and he also gets to move on to the playoffs. Serral opening again with a 17 pool. Really cool to see the style coming out. Once more. On the other side, we see Spirit going for a CC first. These guys are one-upping each other in terms of macro builds. Spirit, the only thing you can really do now is make a third base as a hidden base to even outgreed more. Just build it on location and make another orbital in the main and just have 4 orbitals throwing mules. So we see a gas coming out for Serral this time. So still with the earlier pool, so he can get a queen. He's actually making a pair of Zerglings as well. Serral did not see this, I believe, but he does see an SCV coming out. This is interesting. 2 drones mining to keep 16 on the minerals. Be as economical as possible. Double gas coming out after the CC first for Spirit. And we see a marine, and we're going to see a factory being plonked down by Spirit. Spirit did scout with his SCV, and he got to see the hatchery. So he probably knows from the timing that Serral did do a pool first build once again, but he doesn't know if there's gas right now. Because in the first game, he went gasless off of his pool first. Really cool. Because now he can go gas and suddenly he has speed when Spirit doesn't expect it. When he doesn't scout it and he expects you to do the same from the first time around or the first game. He could even keep mining gas and go for like a cheeky roach attack. Although Spirit is probably well practiced against that. And why risk it if you're godly like Serral? Where you just showed that you can easily wipe the floor with anybody that wants to go macro with you in ZVT. So we see speed more than halfway done. I expect the third base to go down anytime soon because we have double saturation on both the NAT and... Oh, never... Jesus Christ. There's already a third base. Of course, I knew this. I was testing you guys. Third base is down, so we can continue worker production and saturate another base. Third base is down for Spirit as well in the main, so we can float that over to his third base when he feels like he can. There is Hellion Banshee on the map once again. No Reaper this time, but just the Hellions and no Cloak so far. We do see another tech lab being built for this barracks, and I expect to see STIM anytime now. We do see this Overlord scouting everything. This is a great scout for Serral. He sees Cloak. He sees the third CC. He couldn't confirm STIM quite yet, but... yeah, I guess it could be a mech build, but I would expect both gases to be taken already, so this is most likely just bio. And there come the extra barracks and STIM. He's gonna wait for a second Banshee again to do another one of those Banshee drive-bys that he did the first game, and he got like 8-9 drones. That was pretty nice. So we see a couple Speedlings chilling around, waiting to maybe catch these Hellions when they move out onto creep too early. And the creep spread is already exploding for Serral. 4th base is down, 5 minutes on the dot. Baneling Nest is coming down. Spores are being built because, of course, he scouted. The cloak being researched. And it's generally nice to have against Banshees anyways. Allows you to keep more queens in the front. Double engineering bay is underway, and the 3rd base has landed. We see, I would say this is a pretty similar build to Spirit, or at least a similar follow-up out of his opener. He's still going for the double Banshee. He has a couple Hellions. I feel like he made 2 less than last game, so skimping on those a little. And we're seeing it in the creep spread, I feel like. And these Banshees, ooh, not getting anything done. Feels bad, man. And Serral just holding down the drone keys. Like, well, if you have 2 Banshees, you have nothing else behind it. I saw everything that is in your base. You had 1 barracks when I scouted, so there's no way you have a bunch of bio. I'm just gonna make drones, 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 and he just skyrockets up to 80. Whereas Spirit is on 60. He does have 3 orbitals giving him a bunch of mules, though, and a 4th one being constructed again. This game looks a lot like the last one, very similar. But I feel like Serral's creep is even crazier, and 5th base is down, 4th base is already saturated. This is a crazy game for Serral, where he just gets to do what he wants. That annoying burrow upgrade being researched again. Hopefully we get some Baneling landmines. And if you're Serral, you can start thinking about just moving into Hive already. You have everything you would ever want. And look at these creep queens. Mamma mia. There's a little move out here by Spirit. This is a nice position for the siege tanks. Stim Marines walking in. 1-1 not quite done. Maybe trying to catch Spirit or Serral off guard here. Hellions do target the Banelings a little bit, but Banelings, of course, not being light, not taking bonus damage from those Hellions. Ooh, and the Banes walk back into the Hellions, and the Hellions had no vision of that. They get blown up. 1-1 is now done for the bio. So pretty scary for Serral for a couple seconds because his 1-1 is not done, but he gets a nice move and into the tank position. But the tanks are picked up by those medevacs. Very nicely played by Spirit. 1-1 is done for him. +1 Carapace not done for the Zerg yet, so this is kind of an anti-timing by Serral. Really good for Spirit if he doesn't get hit by all those Banelings, but 22 SCVs bite to dust. And Spirit couldn't defend his 3rd base because there was a big flock of Zerg walling him out. And Spirit did save his tanks with medevacs, but he did not do the same for his SCVs. And now he's in a tight position. He does have 4 CCs on the map, so he can make 4 SCVs at a time, kind of like the Protoss players are doing right now. Just make workers if you see Banelings. We see a drop going out for Spirit, but his army is quite or decently sized, but his worker count is low. These Burrow Zerglings again. Serral abusing Burrow very well in this series. I love to see it. We see Hive now coming as well, and that macro hatch for those Zerglings. We see the infestation pit. Probably not going to be used for any infestors, but you just need it for the Hive. Overlord speed as well. And there's a drop in the main. Maybe these Lings can get, or these Marines can get something done. They target the pool, actually. And they get it. They actually kill the pool. But there's already another pool being built at the Nat. Hydralisk Den underway. Maybe planning to move into Lurkers at some point. Only 6 gases for the Zerg. Not electing to go any higher than that. He just wants to have a lot of Zerglings. And you need minerals for that. 3rd base and 4th base are once again saturated for Spirit, so he is definitely still in this. If he can take a more forward position, I would love to see him take this as his 5th, planetary it up, get some tanks here, and then you have a nice staging area to move into the 5th, move into the 3rd of Serral. Right now, this drop is kind of stuck. Viper's underway again. This is a lot of Zerglings. 2-2 is about to finish as well. The Terran is... well, they're kind of equal in upgrades. Nobody really has a timing here. Banshees can be of real good value here. One-shotting the Banelings. I love these Banshees. They're kind of like the Oracles in ZVP. But with Cloak, they do get out. They're really nice to shoo away those Baneling clumps that are looking at your bio army like they're a snack. Tanks being sieged, using the terrain to his advantage, but 6 Dropper Lords are underway. Is this a fake drop? Is this what Spirit did to him in game 1? Ooh. 2 Marauders get killed and that's it. Spirit ran away with his whole army and left 2 Marauders behind, hoping to trigger some of those Banes to explode on them. No, it's not a fake drop, baby. It's real. And it's 6 Dropper Lords filled with Zerglings. It's gonna be so annoying. He's going to drop them, kill a bunch of infrastructure, and even burrow them in the main base. Serral is being very annoying and just taxing Spirit's APM so very much. Now, he is electing to take this 5th base, which I love. These tanks are really annoying. This ledge can't be used by Colossus, and the Zergling drop in the main is here. Killing 4 SCVs, killing some turrets, and killing a CC as well. And now actually are also killing this barracks. These are 2 toolings with Adrenal. And Serral's not looking anymore. Oh, actually burrows 2 of them in the main base. He can continue nibbling on this reactor later on. Really cool drop, and then only cost some minerals and some gas to make the Dropper Lords. Another drop going out for Spirit, trying to get something done on Serral's side of the map. But Serral has so many hatcheries. And he actually has the gold as well. This man is rich. But it doesn't really matter, because Spirit is maxed. And although Serral's building up a nice bank, this is a very entrenched position by Spirit. Nice blinding cloud shutting down the tank, but not the PF, because you still get melee range. Another tank does die, and the PF gets shut down and destroyed. So no 5th base for Spirit. It looked like a pretty entrenched position, but not quite entrenched enough for Serral to not just run in there with a big swarm of Lingbane Hydralisk. Speaking of which, we just have more Lingbane Hydralisk being added on. We have a hive for these Vipers. We do have +3 melee and +2 range underway. No Lurker Den just yet, though. So, Serral staying on this lower tech, but with high upgrades and just giant swarm army. We see another Ling drop, 5 Overlords filled with very scary Zerglings that have +3 Carapace, which makes them pretty difficult to kill. The SimCity working in the favor of Spirit here, but these Lynx are still pretty good at chomping down some units. And we see another big swarm in here, taking down the 5th base once again. Hydralisk in the back, taking advantage of those melee units, tanking for them. And once the melee units thin out, the 5th base has been killed. The Hydras retreat with whatever's remaining. And Spirit just needs to be rebuilding base after base after base. I wouldn't hate it if he had like 2 more PFs here, but he's struggling for money. Like, he has 5 bases, but oh. The Lings did get unburrowed there, killed a couple more SCVs. But he's pretty low on cash. His main is mined out. His natural is almost mined out. His 3rd is pretty, or his 4th is pretty healthy, and 3rd is pretty healthy. And Serral's just expanding next to his opponent. Moving in once again before the PF is even done. Banelings roll in off of creep even. Just getting a bunch of kills and even more tanks bite to dust. No tank upgrades. No +1 or 2 or 3 for these tanky boys. Now Serral has both gold bases on the map. And he basically has every other base. Except for this one. Kind of disappointing, Serral. Come on. We need you to take that base as well. Spirit kind of being outclassed here. And remember, this is do or die for Serral. I saw, yep. There is indeed a lurker den under, or it is done already. Probably made a second one and canceled it. Another double +3 upgrades about to finish, and we see the lurker upgrades coming. We even see pathogen glands for infestors. We see neural. Serral's like, I've got all the money I need. I'm just going to start all of the upgrades. I missed this attack. Serral moved in again after Spirit established his 5th base again. And oh my god, Zerg is just overrunning, overwhelming Spirit. And his siege line does run deep. But the 5th base is always sacrificed once you are retreating with your units. And now Spirit has to lift an orbital from somewhere. But Serral won't allow him to remax or reestablish that 5th base. He moves in again, maxed once again, and he starts surrounding and killing the army of Spirit. 8 more SCVs, 10 and more to fall. Spirit has to GG out after being dominated by Spirit. That means that Spirit actually loses out to ShoWTimE in Group D by 1 map. Even though Spirit did beat ShoWTimE, Spirit lost to HSC23. And so his map score is actually worse than ShoWTimE's. So HSC23 coming in clutch there for ShoWTimE and Serral as well. We have Serral and ShoWTimE moving on out of Group D. I'll be taking a short break from casting these matches to kind of rewatch them, look for what can I do better. So if you guys have any feedback or any specific games I could look at, let me know. I hope to be back in a couple days to bring you the playoffs, which is going to be all best of 5s. So juicy. I'll see you guys then. Cheers.